The wind screamed across the endless white desert of Antarctica. Snow lifted into the air like smoke, twisting around the metal towers of Polaris Research Station. The sun was low, glowing weakly through thick gray clouds, making everything appear frozen in time. Inside the station, Dr. Ray Wilson sat alone in the communication room, tapping his fingers on the table. He was a tall man with tired eyes, the kind of man who had seen too many winters in places no human should live. He stared at the blinking red light on the radio console. It had been blinking for 7 hours now, a signal, a constant repeating signal. But it wasn't coming from any known station, not from any ship, not from any satellite, not from anything human. Ray leaned closer and pressed his headphones to his ears. The sound was not a normal transmission, no voice, no static. Just a strange rising and falling tone. It almost felt alive. He took a deep breath and checked the coordinates again. Same location, he whispered, deep under the central ice shelf. He had never seen anything like this in all his years of scientific research. Signals didn't come from miles under the ice. There was only ancient rock down there, ancient rock and ice from millions of years ago. Ray rubbed his forehead, his heartbeat rising. "What are you?" Behind him, the door opened with a soft hiss. Dr. Mia Lopez, the station's geologist, stepped inside. She was younger than Ray, quick-thinking, sharp-eyed, and always calm even when the world wasn't. Her dark hair was tied in a simple ponytail, and she carried a steaming cup of coffee. "You're still listening to it?" she asked softly. Ray nodded without looking up. "It hasn't stopped." Mia placed a hand on his shoulder. "You need a break. You've been here since morning." But Ray shook his head. "Mia, this signal isn't natural and it isn't random. Look." He pressed a button. On the screen, a wave pattern appeared, repeating in perfect loops. Mia's eyes widened. "That's impossible. Nature doesn't make patterns like that." "I know." They both stared at the screen in silence. Only the wind outside dared to speak, howling against the metal walls. Finally, Mia whispered, "Do you think someone is trapped down there?" Ray shook his head again, slowly. "Carefully, no human could be sending this. Nobody is down there." "Then what is it?" Ray turned in his seat and looked at her. His voice dropped to almost a whisper. "I think it's a message." Mia swallowed hard. "A message from what?" Ray looked back at the blinking red light. "That," he said, "is the question that scares me." A sudden change. The signal's tone changed suddenly, rising faster, sharper, almost urgent. Mia leaned forward. "Ray, it's speeding up." Ray's fingers danced over the controls. "I see it. The frequency is increasing." Outside, the station lights flickered as the wind grew stronger. The entire building trembled as if something deep under the ice had woken up and was pushing against the world above. Ray stared at the screen, his breath caught in his throat. "This isn't random, it's reacting." "Reacting to what?" Mia asked. "To us," Ray replied. The idea hung in the room like a cold shadow. Mia stepped back. "Ray, you're saying something under the ice knows we're listening." Ray didn't speak. He didn't have to. The signal changed again, 3 sharp tones, then silence. The red light turned off. The room felt suddenly colder. Mia whispered, "It stopped." Ray adjusted his headphones. "No, it didn't stop." He flipped a switch and the speakers crackled. A new sound filled the room, one Ray had hoped he would never hear. A voice, but not a human voice, a deep, echoing whisper like wind moving through a hollow cave, but smoother, almost intelligent. Ray froze. Mia covered her mouth. The voice was speaking, slowly, deliberately, in a language no human had ever heard. Ray's hands shook as he recorded it. "What in the world is that?" Mia breathed. Ray whispered, "Not from this world, maybe." The voice faded, then the signal returned, but only one pulse repeated again and again. Mia stared at the screen. "What does that mean?" Ray spoke without emotion. "It's coordinates. The team gathers within an hour." Ray had called an emergency meeting in the briefing room. The research team, 12 scientists from 6 different countries, gathered around the long table, rubbing sleep from their eyes. Captain Marcus Hale, the security officer, entered last. A broad-shouldered man with a military past, he studied faces more than screens. "What's going on, Ray? Why the emergency?" Ray connected his laptop to the projector. The strange signal patterns appeared on the wall. "This," Ray began, "has been repeating since last night." The team leaned forward. Dr. Lena Park, the biologist, frowned. "Is this a new satellite signal?" "No," Ray said firmly, "not human." The room fell silent. Captain Hale crossed his arms. "You're joking." Mia stepped in. "Listen for yourself." She played the recording of the alien-like voice. Every person in the room froze. Lena dropped her pen. Dr. Ahmed whispered a prayer under his breath. Captain Hale's eyes narrowed sharply. "That's not a joke," Ray continued, "and look at this." He pointed at the repeating numbers, coordinates deep under the central ice shelf. Dr. Ahmed frowned. "There's nothing under that ice." Ray stared directly at him. "Are you sure?" Ahmed opened his mouth, then closed it. Ray continued, "This signal wants us to come there. It's calling us." Mia added, "Maybe something ancient is buried under the ice." Dr. Lena whispered, "Or someone." Captain Hale shook his head. "We're scientists, not ghost hunters. We can't go drilling into unknown territory because of some strange radio noise." Ray played the voice again. Hale shifted uncomfortably. "Ray, what do you think it is?" he asked. Ray slowly answered, "I think it's a warning." The ice trembles that night. A storm stronger than anything they had seen struck the station. Winds reached impossible speeds, snow blew sideways like a white wall trying to swallow the world. Ray couldn't sleep. He sat near the window watching the storm, feeling uneasy. Mia sat beside him with a blanket around her shoulders. Thinking about the signal, she asked. Ray nodded. Yeah, I can't shake the feeling that something under the ice woke up. Do you think it's dangerous? Ray didn't answer immediately. I don't know, but it's old, very old. Suddenly the ground trembled beneath them. Mia gasped and grabbed the window frame. What was that? Ray stood up quickly. An earthquake. Another tremor hit, sharper, stronger. The entire station shook. Alarms blared. Lights flickered. Captain Hale's voice echoed through the speakers. Everyone moved to the central hall now. Ray and Mia rushed down the hallway as the building swayed. Ice dust fell from the ceiling. Metal beams groaned. In the central hall, scientists huddled together, fear spreading across their faces. What's happening? Lena shouted. Ray grabbed the nearest control panel. Seismic sensors are reading activity under the ice shelf. Mia felt her blood turn cold. Ray, that's where the signal came from. The tremor stopped. Silence fell across the room. Then from the radio in Ray's hand, the signal returned louder than ever, vibrating with power. The voice came again. But this time it sounded urgent, desperate. Ray stared at the device. It's calling for help. Captain Hale's eyes widened. A desperate call from under the ice. Ray nodded. Yes, and I don't think we can ignore it anymore. The team exchanged frightened looks. Mia whispered, something is alive down there and it wants us to come. Ray looked at the team with a grave face. Tomorrow morning we go to the coordinates. Captain Hale clenched his jaw but nodded. All right. But we go prepared. We don't know what we're walking into. Ray stared out the window at the storm. Somewhere far beneath the ice, something ancient and powerful was waiting, calling, begging, and the team of Polaris Station had just become part of a mystery older than human history. The night was silent again, but beneath Antarctica something moved. The next morning, Antarctica was silent again. The storm had died, leaving the world covered in a fresh white blanket. The cold was sharper than usual, biting through layers of clothing like invisible teeth. The sun hung low over the horizon, painting the icy land with a pale blue glow. At Polaris Station, the team gathered in the equipment room. Thick jackets, oxygen tanks, thermal boots, scanners, and small weapons were lined up neatly on the tables. Captain Hale inspected every item with strict focus. Ray walked in, adjusting his gloves. His mind was still replaying the signal from the night before, that desperate, haunting voice from deep beneath the ice. Mia approached him with her hood half-zipped. You okay? She asked. Ray nodded slowly. Not really, but we have no choice now. Mia gave a small, nervous smile. At least we're going together. Ray looked at the gathered team, 12 humans, 12 hearts beating faster than normal, and under the ice, something else was beating too. Captain Hale lifted his voice. All right, team, we're heading to the coordinates, Doctor. Ray found, no splitting up, no wandering, and if anything looks wrong, we pull back immediately. Understood. Everyone nodded, some bravely, some fearfully. Hale opened the door. A blast of icy wind slapped their faces. Move out. The long walk into the unknown, they traveled in 2 snow vehicles, large machines with tank-like tracks made for the harsh Antarctic terrain. The engines growled against the cold, pushing across the white plain toward the coordinates. Inside the lead vehicle, Ray kept staring at the scanner screen. A faint dot blinked at the center, the location of the strange signal. Mia sat beside him, looking out the window at the endless sheet of ice. It feels quiet, she whispered. Ray nodded. Too quiet. Behind them, Captain Hale was checking his rifle. I don't like that the ground shook last night. Something big caused that, Dr. Ahmed. Sitting opposite him, added nervously, earthquakes don't warn us with radio signals. Lena spoke softly. Maybe whatever is down there is trying to reach out. Maybe it's trapped. Ray looked at her. Or maybe it wants to keep us away. The vehicle hit a bump, shaking everyone. After 2 hours of silence and tension, the blinking dot on Ray's scanner turned green. We're almost there, he announced. Captain Hale looked through the front window and froze. What the hell? The others leaned forward. Before them, the ice surface dipped into a massive circular depression, wide, smooth, and perfectly round, as if something enormous pressed upward from beneath. The area was about 1 kilometer across. Mia whispered, Ray, this doesn't look natural. Ray felt a chill run down his spine. No, it isn't. The vehicles stopped near the edge. The first anomaly, they stepped out into the icy air. Their breaths fogged instantly as they approached the depression. The surface didn't look like normal ice. Instead, it glowed faintly with a strange bluish light, like moonlight trapped under glass. Lena crouched and touched it with a gloved hand. She gasped. It's warm. Ray knelt beside her and pressed the ice. It was warm, warm ice. Impossible. Captain Hale pointed at a thin line running along the center of the depression. What's that? Ray leaned closer. It wasn't a crack. It wasn't natural. It was a seam, a perfect line. Like the edge where 2 massive metal doors meet. Ray whispered, this is not ice. This is a structure. Suddenly, his scanner beeped loudly. Mia jumped. What now? Ray stared at the screen. The signal is coming from right below us. Ahmed stepped forward. Ray, are you saying this entire structure is buried under the ice shelf? Ray nodded slowly. This isn't a rock formation. This is built artificial. Hale raised a hand. Everyone back, we need to be sure it's safe. But before they could move, the ground beneath them trembled. A soft hum rose from the ice, low at first, then stronger. The seam in the ground glowed with bright white light. Mia shouted, "It's opening." The team backed away quickly as the giant circular platform began to split apart. Snow slid off as two massive doors shifted outward with a grinding sound, releasing a burst of warm air from below. The cold wind turned to steam. Lena pulled her hood tight. "This is impossible. What is down there?" Ray didn't answer because he didn't know. The doors opened fully, revealing a dark tunnel leading deep into the ground. A gentle blue light glowed from within, pulsing slowly like a heartbeat. Captain Hale gripped his rifle. "No turning back now, let's move." Inside the hidden depths, the descent was slow and tense. Their boots echoed on the metallic floor, cold, smooth, too perfect. Ray touched the wall. It wasn't metal like humans made. It felt lighter, warmer, almost alive. Mia's voice trembled. "How old do you think this is?" Ray whispered. "Older than human history." The tunnel ended in a huge chamber. The ceiling stretched high above them, glowing with soft blue veins of light running across it like rivers under glass. In the center of the room stood a tall pillar made of the same unknown metal. Strange symbols swirled around it, symbols they had never seen before. Lena walked toward the pillar, her eyes wide. "These symbols, they move." Everyone looked. The glowing symbols shifted like liquid on the surface, rearranging themselves slowly. Ray reached out instinctively. Captain Hale grabbed his arm. "Do not touch anything." Ray took a breath, calming himself. "You're right." Suddenly, the pillar emitted a soft chime. Lights across the chamber flickered on. The ceiling brightened. Hidden pathways emerged, each glowing with faint golden lines. Then a hologram flickered to life in the center. Everyone stepped back. A rotating object hovered in the air. Mia whispered, "Is that?" Ray stared in shock. "Yes, that's Earth, but not the Earth they knew." The continents looked different, bigger, closer, different coastlines, green Antarctica full of forests. Lena gasped. "This is Earth millions of years ago." Ahmed whispered, shaking, Who made this?" Ray stepped forward slowly, voice trembling. "Whoever built this place was here long before humans." The hologram changed. Lines connected Antarctica to multiple glowing points. Symbols appeared around the continent. A final symbol pulsed brightly in the center. Mia pointed at it. "That symbol, Ray, that's the same pattern the signal used." Ray nodded. "It's a message, a map, and a warning." Hale looked around uneasily. "Warning about what?" Before anyone could answer, the floor vibrated. The pillar split open, revealing a staircase descending deeper into the structure. The voice from the radio, the alien voice, echoed faintly from below. Ray swallowed. "It's down there." Hale stepped forward. "Everyone stay sharp. This is no longer a research mission." A sleeping secret. The staircase led to a chamber darker and colder than the one above. There were pods, dozens of them built into the walls like honeycombs. Ray shined his flashlight at one. The surface was crystal-like, frosted, cracked. Inside the pod was a figure, tall, humanoid, but not human. Its skin was pale silver, its limbs longer, its head slightly elongated with smooth features. Mia gasped. "Oh my god, Ray!" Ray stepped closer, his heartbeat echoing loudly in his ears. "It's an alien." Lena covered her mouth. "Are they dead?" Before anyone could answer, the symbols on the pod glowed faintly. The ice around the alien began to melt. Ray stumbled back. "It's waking up." The chamber lights brightened. The humming grew stronger. The pod cracked further. Captain Hale pointed his rifle. "Stay behind me if it moves," but Ray stepped forward. "No, we don't know if it's hostile." The pod exploded outward with a burst of steam. The alien fell forward, landing on one knee, breathing heavily. Its eyes slowly opened, glowing white, ancient, intelligent, watching them. It slowly lifted its head and spoke, not in words, but in all their minds. A calm, echoing voice, "You should not have come here." The chamber fell into deep silence. Only the soft hum of the alien structure vibrated through the air like a sleeping heart suddenly remembering how to beat again. The lights on the walls glowed brighter, shifting from pale blue to a warm golden color as if welcoming something home. The alien stayed on one knee, breathing slowly. Frost melted off its skin like fading stardust. It looked fragile for a second, like a person waking from a 1,000-year sleep, but then it lifted its head. Its white, glowing eyes scanned the team one by one, calm, slow, intelligent. Captain Hale tightened his grip on his weapon, his finger hovering dangerously close to the trigger. Ray raised a hand. "Hale, not unless it attacks." The alien turned its gaze toward Ray for a moment. Ray felt a strange pressure in his mind, like a hand gently touching his thoughts. He gasped and stepped back. Mia grabbed his arm. "Ray, what happened?" Ray took a shaky breath. "It touched my mind, not in a bad way, more like checking who we are." The alien stood fully upright now. It was tall, far taller than any human, with smooth silver-white skin that looked like polished stone. Its fingers were long and thin, ending in soft blue lights. Strange patterns ran across its arms and shoulders, glowing faintly like veins of energy. The alien spoke again, not with a mouth, but directly into their minds. "You should not have come here." The words were clear, cold, ancient. Lena stepped forward carefully. "We heard your signal. We thought someone needed help." The alien tilted its head, studying her, then it walked toward the cracked pod and placed a hand on it. The pod closed slowly like a flower returning to its bud. "This place was never meant to be found," it said. "Not by your kind." Captain Hale bristled. "And what exactly is our kind to you?" The alien turned its glowing eyes toward him, young, unprepared, curious in ways that lead to destruction. Hale's jaw clenched, but Ray stepped forward before tensions rose. "Why did you call us here?" Ray asked gently. "Your signal led us." The alien paused, as if deciding whether humans deserved the truth. Finally, it spoke, "Because something woke with me." A cold wave ran through the room. Mia whispered, "Something else, another alien like you." The alien shook its head slowly. "Not like me, not alive." The team exchanged confused looks. Ray swallowed. "What do you mean?" The alien stepped toward a nearby console. Its fingers glowed and touched a panel. Immediately, the room transformed. The wall turned into a holographic screen, displaying images of ancient Earth, warm Antarctica filled with green forests, giant rivers, and tall glowing towers. Lena gasped. "Antarctica was alive," Ahmed whispered. "It looks like a different planet." The alien spoke. "This world once had many guardians. We came here as observers, researchers, and protectors." The hologram showed more strange beings, tall, elegant, similar to the one standing before them. But beneath the eyes something else lived, something created by mistake, something that feeds on energy and grows without limit. The walls darkened, a new image appeared, a black, shifting creature, enormous, shapeless, full of tendrils and sharp, glowing cracks moved across the ancient landscape. Mountains shook wherever it passed, the ground melted behind it. Mia shuddered. "What is that?" The alien answered. "A weapon, one that broke free." Ray stepped back, eyes wide. "A weapon. You built it?" The alien's voice grew heavier. "We tried to destroy it, but we failed, so we froze it beneath this land, and we put ourselves to sleep to contain its energy." Hale cursed under his breath. "And now that thing is awake." The alien gave a slow, sorrowful nod. "When you drilled into the ice, you weakened the seal." Ray felt a sharp pain of guilt in his chest. "So our research woke it." "Yes." The room shook suddenly, not from an earthquake, but something large moving underneath. Dust fell from the ceiling, light flickered. The alien looked upward sharply. "It knows you are here, it senses warm life, it will follow you to the surface." Captain Hale stepped forward, eyes blazing. "Then how do we stop it?" The alien turned its glowing gaze toward him. "You cannot stop it." The creature stirred suddenly. The entire chamber vibrated violently. A deep roar, dull and distant but powerful, echoed from below, vibrating through their bones. Lena grabbed Ray's arm. "What was that?" Ray didn't answer. He already knew. Hale aimed his rifle at the lower tunnels. "Something's coming." The alien moved fast, faster than any human could blink. It placed a hand on the glowing pillar in the center of the room. The entire chamber reacted instantly. Walls folded, floors shifted. Hidden pathways slammed shut like a living fortress preparing for war. The alien spoke with urgency. "You must leave. This place will collapse." To slow the creature. Ray shook his head. "No, we came to help." The alien stepped close, eyes blazing bright. "Help yourselves. Leave now. I will hold it back." Mia's voice cracked. "You'll die. I died long ago." The words were calm and heartbreaking. Ray stared at the ancient being, a protector who had been asleep for thousands, maybe millions of years, only to awaken into a dying war. Then the roar came again, much closer this time. A massive crack opened in the floor. Heat surged upward. A shadow rose beneath the ice, tall, twisted, black like smoke, but thick as molten rock. It wasn't a creature. It was hunger shaped into a body. Tendrils slammed against the walls, making them bend inward. Ahmed screamed, "We need to go now." Captain Hale didn't wait. Everyone moved back to the tunnel. The team rushed up the stairs as the alien stayed behind, pressing both hands on the glowing pillar. Energy surged from its palms like pure light. The walls around it brightened, forming a barrier. The creature roared, hitting the barrier with a force that shook the entire structure. Ray looked back for a second, breath frozen in his lungs. The alien met his gaze through the shimmering barrier. "Run!" Ray turned and sprinted. The collapse, the team climbed the stairs as the structure around them groaned, metal twisting like bones snapping. The lights flickered, then turned red. Hale shouted, "Faster, move." Lena slipped when the ground shook. Mia caught her arm and pulled her up. Behind them, the lower chamber exploded with blinding white light. The alien's voice echoed faintly in all their minds, "Forgive us for what we left behind." They reached the upper hall where the Earth hologram was flickering violently. Entire walls were cracking open. The warm glow of the structure began to fade. Ray shouted, "The entrance, go!" They sprinted toward the long tunnel leading outside. A massive tremor hit, sending them to their knees. Ahmed cried out as a metal beam fell behind them, sealing part of the hall. "Move, move!" Hale yelled. The team stumbled forward, coughing from dust. They reached the final ramp. The exit to the surface was still open, snow blowing in. Mia helped Lena outside first. Ray followed, grabbing Ahmed by the arm. Hale stayed last, firing a few pointless shots down the tunnel as if bullets could stop whatever was coming. They all made it into the open air. The ground beneath them cracked like breaking glass. With a deafening roar, the entire circular ice platform collapsed inward, sending a huge burst of steam and snow into the sky. A shockwave knocked them off their feet. Ray crawled up, heart pounding. The entire structure was gone, swallowed by the earth, but from deep within the hole a faint tremor continued. Something was still alive down there, something rising, Mia whispered, trembling. Ray, it didn't die. Ray stared into the darkness, fear crawling under his skin. No, he whispered, it didn't. And far below the ice, a single glowing crack pulsed like an eye opening. The sun was fading behind the frozen horizon when the team finally pulled themselves away from the collapsed entrance. The wind cut across their faces with sharp bites, and the world felt heavier, like Antarctica itself was holding its breath. Ray stood closest to the cliff of broken ice, staring into the dark abyss where the alien structure had fallen. Mia came beside him, her face pale and shaken. Ray, she whispered, the alien, did it survive? Ray didn't answer immediately. He kept watching the crack far below that pulsed with a faint white glow. It looked like a heartbeat. He finally spoke, voice low and unsure. I don't know, but whatever that creature was, it's alive, and it's moving. Behind them, Captain Hale rounded up the team. Everyone back to the vehicles, he ordered. We need to get to the station and call for evacuation. Nobody argued, nobody even breathed too loudly. Fear had settled into their bones, but as they reached the vehicles, something strange happened. Ray felt a sudden pressure in his head, a soft vibration like fingertips brushing his mind. He staggered. Mia grabbed him. Ray, are you hurt? Ray shook his head. No, Then he heard it, a voice. But not a human voice. Ray, do not run. Ray froze, his eyes widened, his heart hammered in his chest. He whispered, it's the alien, he's speaking to me. Hale raised a brow. How? He's buried under 100 meters of ice now. Ray pressed a hand to his forehead, feeling the mental whisper growing stronger. No, not speaking with sound, through thoughts, telepathy. Ahmed stepped back nervously. So he's inside your head now. Ray took a deep breath. He just said don't run. Lena shivered. Why, something is coming. Ray listened again. The voice flowed through his mind like water moving through cracks in stone, smooth, calm, yet desperate. You woke the creature. It will follow your energy. It feeds on warmth, life, movement. Do not run. Running will draw it. Ray whispered the words out loud, and panic spread across the team like wildfire. Hale swore under his breath. So we're trapped. We can't drive back. Ray listened again. More words filled his mind. You must understand before you escape. There is something I must show you. Ray trembled. He wants to show me something important. Mia looked around nervously. Ray, this is insane. We need to go now. But the alien's voice grew louder, stronger. Images spilled into Ray's mind, flashes, shapes, a memory not his own, and then everything around him faded. Ray's vision suddenly, Ray wasn't standing in the frozen wasteland anymore. He stood in a warm green land filled with gigantic trees and glowing blue rivers. Strange flying creatures soared overhead, and towers of shining crystal rose from the earth like enormous flowers. Ray stared around, stunned. This is Antarctica, a voice echoed beside him. Yes, long ago. Ray turned. The alien stood next to him, whole, glowing. Uninjured, as if he had never been trapped in ice. His voice was quiet and heavy with sadness. This was our home, our sanctuary. Your world was different then. Ray walked slowly across the glowing grass. This place felt ancient, sacred, alive. Why are you showing me this? Ray asked. The alien touched a crystal tower. Light rippled across its surface. Because you humans will soon face what we faced, and you must not repeat our mistake. Ray swallowed the creature. The alien nodded. It was born in our labs, a life form grown from pure energy, a guardian for the world, but something changed. It learned hunger, endless hunger. The sky darkened, the peaceful land twisted, green turning to black, rivers boiling, towers collapsing. The creature appeared, the same monstrous shadow Ray saw in the hologram, but now alive, devouring everything it touched. Ray felt its presence like a wave of heat rolling from a volcano. It screamed, a deep, hollow, unnatural sound. Ray staggered back, terrified. It destroys everything. Because it has no mind, no limit, the alien said softly. We sealed it away, and we sealed ourselves with it. The land around them faded again, dissolving into a swirling mist. Ray reached out desperately. Wait, what do you want us to do? The alien's glowing eyes locked onto his. Listen, do not run. It hunts movement. Stay together, stay calm, and trust me. The world shattered like glass, and Ray was suddenly back on the ice. Returned to reality, Mia was gripping his arms. Ray, what happened? You were gone, like you froze. Ray struggled to catch his breath. I saw everything. The alien showed me the past, the creature, their world. Hale stepped forward, eyes sharp. Forget visions. What did he say? What do we do? Ray looked up, shaken but steady. He said we cannot run. Movement draws it. The creature senses heat and energy. If we drive, it will chase us. Ahmed panicked. So we stay here and wait to die? Ray shook his head. No, the alien said he can guide us to safety, but we must listen. Lena's voice trembled. Guide us how? He's trapped beneath the ice. Ray closed his eyes. The alien's voice returned, steady and calm. Walk north, slowly, follow the wind, do not break apart. Ray opened his eyes. He wants us to walk slowly north. Hale looked like he wanted to punch the ice. Walking in this cold, in this terrain, for how long? Ray swallowed. For as long as he guides us. The ground trembled gently, a warning. A shadow shifted in the deep crack behind them. Whatever was down there was waking faster. Hale barked, "Team, form a line, stay close." They began walking north, slow, careful steps. No running, no shouting, no sudden heat spikes. The wind blew against them softly. As if pushing them forward, Ray whispered, "It's the same direction he showed me in the vision." Mia held his hand tightly. Behind them the crack widened. A faint glow pulsed from below, like the creature was sniffing the air, searching. They kept walking, one slow step at a time. Midway through the ice field, hours passed. Their legs burned, their hands shook. Their faces felt frozen, but they stayed together. They moved like shadows across the snow. Ray whispered, "I can still hear him. He's guiding us, telling us to stay calm." Mia looked up at Ray's pale face. "Are you okay? You're sweating even in this cold." Ray didn't notice. He was focused on the voice in his head. "You are close. Keep your mind steady. Do not fear. Fear makes heat." Ray repeated the words out loud. "Don't panic. Fear makes heat. It makes the creature find us." Ahmed whispered shakily, "I'm trying, Ray, but that thing is right behind us." Hale spoke firmly, "We follow Ray. No fear, no running." It worked for a few minutes until something cracked in the distance, a deep thunderous sound. The ground rumbled violently. Lena shouted, "It's coming up again." Ray gripped Mia's hand urgently. Don't run," but Ahmed panicked. He broke formation and sprinted across the snow. "No, Ahmed," Mia screamed. Ray felt his heart drop into darkness. The alien's voice filled his mind, pained and urgent. "Stop him, the creature has smelled him." Ahmed's footsteps echoed across the ice field, and then the ground exploded behind him. A massive tendril of black energy shot upward like a spear, slicing through snow and air. It moved impossibly fast. Ahmed didn't even have time to scream. The tendril wrapped around him and pulled him downward into the dark crack. His scream echoed for only a second, then there was silence, absolute silence. The team froze in horror. Mia's tears froze on her cheeks. Lena fell to her knees. Hale whispered, voice broken, "We can't outrun that." Ray looked toward the crack, shaking violently. He whispered in terror, "It's hunting." And the alien's voice returned, soft, sad, determined. "You must reach the place I show you. It is the only safe point. Hurry before the creature grows stronger." Ray nodded, trembling. "We keep walking, no running, no breaking apart." Hale wiped a frozen tear from his face and whispered, "For Ahmed, we survive." The team continued, slow, silent, united, and beneath them the creature followed, growing hungrier, stronger, and closer. The wind had quieted, but the silence in the Arctic plain was heavy, too heavy. It felt as if the entire continent was listening to their footsteps, waiting for them to make a mistake. Ray walked at the center of the group. His legs shook from exhaustion, but he kept repeating the alien's words silently in his mind. "Stay calm, stay slow. Stay together." Behind him, Mia placed a hand on his back every few minutes, not to comfort him, but to keep herself from falling apart. The image of Ahmed being dragged under the ice burned in her memory like a wound that wouldn't stop bleeding. Captain Hale led the group. His breath came out in short bursts, but his voice stayed strong. Single line, same pace, no breaking ranks. Lena shivered behind him. "Ray, is the alien still speaking to you?" Ray nodded slowly. "Yes," and his tone changed. Mia whispered, "Changed how?" Ray swallowed hard. "It sounds scared." A heavy silence fell over the group. Even Captain Hale's steps faltered. If the ancient being, a protector who survived the monster once, was scared, what chance did they have? A strange heat beneath the snow. The team walked across a flat stretch of white ice. Nothing moved, nothing made sound. But Ray felt something wrong, something he couldn't explain. His steps grew slower as a new sensation spread across his boots. Warmth. He stopped immediately. Everyone freeze. The team halted. Mia looked at him nervously. "What is it now?" Ray knelt and touched the snow with his glove. It was warm, not normal warm, living warm. Captain Hale frowned. "Is it geothermal heat?" Ray pressed deeper into the snow. The warmth pulsed, not steady, not natural, not the earth. He whispered, "It's heartbeat heat." Lena clutched her chest. "Heartbeat from what?" Ray stood slowly. "The creature is moving below us, directly under our feet." Everyone's breath caught at the same time. Hale's jaw tightened. "Ray, tell us the truth. Is it following our footprints?" Ray shook his head. "No, it's following our fear, our energy, our movement." Mia whispered with trembling lips, "So how do we survive?" Before Ray could answer, the alien's voice flooded his mind with a sudden force that made him gasp. "Run!" Ray froze. The voice repeated louder this time. "Run now." Ray spun toward Hale, screaming louder than he had ever screamed. "Run, full speed, it's right under us." Hale didn't question him. "Go, go, go." The team broke into a sprint across the ice. The beast breaks through. They raced across the snowfield, boots pounding against the frozen ground. Ray felt the heat below them rising rapidly, chasing them, and then the world shook. The ice behind them exploded upward with a deafening roar. A black tendril shot through the surface like a spear of living darkness. It cracked the sky with its force, sending snow spraying in all directions. Mia screamed, "It's right there." Lena fell and Hale grabbed her arm, pulling her forward. "Move, don't stop." Ray glanced back and wished he hadn't. The creature emerged fully now. It wasn't a single shape. It was a storm of shadows, a mass of shifting black smoke mixed with molten cracks of glowing red energy. Dozens of tendrils flailed in the air like giant whips. A central torso rose from the mass, tall and twisted like a broken tree. Its head was a smooth black skull with no mouth, but a single glowing crack across the face pulsed like an eye opening. It wasn't alive in the human sense. It was hunger shaped into a monster. Ray screamed to the others, "Don't look back, just run." But the creature was faster. Tendrils slammed into the ground behind them, sending shockwaves that toppled them to their knees. Snow flew like knives into the air. Captain Hale fired his rifle, but the bullets disappeared into the creature's shifting mass like they were swallowed. "It's not working," he yelled, panic cracking through his voice. Ray shouted back, "It absorbs energy, bullets only feed it." The alien's voice rang in Ray's skull. "To your left, a cave, run there." Ray scanned desperately. There, a dark crack between two ice cliffs. "That way," Ray pointed. Left, into the cave. The race into darkness. The group sprinted across the ice, lungs burning, hearts ready to burst. The creature roared, not a sound, but a vibration, a choking pressure that made the snow ripple like water. A tendril slammed down meters from Hale, missing him by inches. "Move, move." Hale screamed, forcing his trembling legs to go faster. Lena cried out, stumbling again. Ray grabbed her arm and dragged her forward. Mia pushed from behind. They reached the cave entrance just as the ground exploded behind them again. A tendril crashed into the ice with such force that the entire cliff trembled. Ray turned back for 1 second. The creature was almost upon them. "Today," Ray shouted. Inside. They dove into the narrow cave just as a tendril whipped past, slashing the entrance. The cave shook but held. The monster couldn't fit inside, not fully. It howled in frustration, forcing crackling tendrils into the opening. But the cave twisted sharply downward, blocking its reach. Hale collapsed inside, gasping for air. Mia clung to Ray. "Are we safe?" Ray shook his head, chest rising and falling violently. "No, just hidden for now." A tremor passed through the cave as the beast pounded the ground above them. Snow fell from the ceiling. The alien's voice whispered urgently, "Keep walking. The creature cannot enter narrow spaces, but it will circle around." Ray looked at the others. "We keep going, follow the path." Inside the ancient tunnel, the cave was dark and cold, but after a few meters it changed. The walls became smooth, too smooth, not ice, not stone, something else. Lena touched it with shaking fingers. "It feels like the alien structure," Ray nodded. "This is part of it, another entrance, a hidden one." The alien's voice confirmed it. "You are walking inside one of our escape tunnels. It will protect you for a short time." Hale frowned. "How short?" Ray listened and his face fell. He said, "Until the creature finds another way inside." Everyone froze. Mia whispered, voice trembling, "So we're trapped." Ray shook his head. "No, there's something ahead, something important." The alien guided him mentally. They followed the tunnel until it widened into a massive underground chamber. Ray gasped. The room was filled with floating crystal pillars, thousands of them, each glowing with soft blue energy. Lena whispered, What is this place?" Ray's eyes widened in awe. "This is a memory vault." Mia looked around. "Memory of what?" Ray touched one of the pillars. Instantly a vision flashed before his eyes. He jerked his hand away. Hale grabbed him. "What did you see?" Ray whispered. "I saw the creature evolving." Lena asked, voice shaking. "Evolving into what?" Ray didn't answer immediately. He walked deeper between the crystal pillars. His hand trembled as he lifted it toward another one. He touched it, and another vision crashed into him like a tidal wave. He saw the creature not as a monster, but as a seed. The alien race created it to protect planets by absorbing harmful energy. But something corrupted it, a single mutation, a single flaw, a single missing limit. Ray saw cities being consumed, worlds collapsing, civilizations screaming. The creature grew until even the alien race could not contain it. It wasn't just a threat, it was extinction. Ray staggered backward, breath shaking. Mia ran to him. "Ray, what is it? What's wrong?" Ray whispered, horrified. "It doesn't stop growing, it doesn't stop feeding. And we woke it before its final evolution." Hale froze. Final evolution. Ray nodded slowly, eyes full of terror. "If it evolves fully, it can swallow entire continents." A deep tremor shook the chamber. Snow drifted from cracks above. The creature found the other end of the tunnel. Ray shouted, "Run, there's an exit ahead, go." The ground roared behind them and the monster came, not a shadow now, but a storm, a living apocalypse. The chamber shook so violently that the crystal pillars trembled like frightened animals. Ray's ears rang as the ground split open behind them, sending waves of dust and glowing fragments into the air. Captain Hale yelled, "Move, move now." The team sprinted through the glowing forest of memory pillars, their breaths loud and uneven, their boots sliding over the smooth metallic floor. Behind them, the creature forced its way inside the tunnel. Its colossal mass scraped against the narrow walls, tearing chunks of stone and metal off the sides. The entire tunnel system screamed under the pressure. Mia looked back once and wished she hadn't. The creature's tendrils writhed like giant black serpents, smashing into pillars and sending shards of glowing crystal flying. Its central body pulsed with molten cracks, as if lava and lightning were trapped inside a cage of smoke. It wasn't chasing them, it was hunting them. Ray grabbed Mia's wrist and pulled her forward. Don't look back, just run, Lena tripped. Crying out as her knee hit the floor, Hale instantly scooped her up with one arm. You're not dying here, move. The tunnel ahead widened into another, smaller passage. The alien's voice filled Ray's mind again, sharp and urgent. Turn right, there's a vertical shaft, climb it fast. Ray shouted it aloud without slowing. Right, take the next right. Mia saw a glowing curve in the wall, the entrance to another passage. That way, they dashed into the narrow side tunnel. The creature slammed into the wall behind them, sending cracks racing along the metal like spiderwebs. A tendril shot through the opening, only barely too large to reach them. It scraped the tunnel wall with a horrible screeching sound. Ray felt a cold wind blast over them from the impact. Faster, the vertical shaft. The alien's voice returned, calmer but still urgent. The shaft will take you close to the surface, but it is steep, do not fall. Ray rounded a corner and stopped dead. Before them stretched a vertical tunnel like a metallic throat, glowing faint blue along its walls. A ladder made of thin crystal-like bars ran straight up into darkness. Hale cursed under his breath. You've got to be kidding me, Ray turned to the others. This is it, climb now. Lena looked up, shaking. It's so high. Ray placed a hand on her shoulder. It's high, but we have no choice. Behind them, another thunderous roar shook the entire structure. A tendril shot around the corner, smashing into the wall and sending sparks flying. Climb, Hale shouted. One by one they began to climb. Ray went first, Mia followed close behind. Hale pushed Lena upward, then climbed himself. The structure groaned as the creature forced more of its body into the passage behind the entrance. It was too big to enter fully, but it didn't need to. It only needed to break the whole tunnel. And it was trying. The ascent climbing the crystal bars was harder than Ray expected. The rungs were narrow and slightly warm, alive with an energy he didn't understand. His gloves slipped twice before he found a rhythm. Above him, the faint glow of light marked the shaft's exit, but it was far, too far. Mia panted behind him. Ray, I can't breathe. Ray didn't look down. If you look down, you'll freeze. Just climb one rung, then the next. Below. Lena shook with every breath. Hale kept encouraging her. You're doing great. Don't look up or down. Just look at your hands. The alien's voice whispered in Ray's mind again. Hurry, it is breaking through the wall. Ray felt his blood run cold. He shouted down the shaft, climb faster. It's almost inside. A deafening explosion shook the vertical tunnel. The walls vibrated like drums being hit from every direction. A cloud of hot dust blasted upward through the shaft. Lena coughed violently. Hale yelled, keep moving. Ray's arms burned with pain. His hands felt numb. A deep cracking noise echoed up the shaft. Ray risked a glance down. He saw it. The creature's tendril had reached the bottom of the shaft. It curled upward like a gigantic black vine searching for prey, and it was climbing straight toward them. Mia, faster, Ray screamed. Mia cried out, climbing frantically. Hale nearly lost his grip as a tremor shook the shaft. It's coming up. He shouted. The alien's voice filled Ray's mind again, louder than ever. Release the energy lock above you. Ray looked up. A glowing panel sat near the exit, shaped like a diamond. That panel, Ray yelled. We need to hit it. Mia groaned. I'm trying, Ray, I'm trying. Ray climbed with everything he had left, muscles screaming. The panel glowed brighter as he got closer. Below them, the creature's tendril slithered up another meter. Lena sobbed. I can feel it. It's right under us. Hale shouted, don't stop climbing. Ray reached the glowing panel. It pulsed with an energy that made his hair stand on end. He raised his fist and slammed it into the panel. The rising cage, the panel burst with light, bright enough to blind them for a moment. Ray felt a sharp electric shock travel up his arm. Below them, the shaft's walls lit up with glowing symbols, the same shifting alien symbols they had seen in the structure. Mia gasped, what's happening? Ray stared as the walls began to shift. Metallic plates slid together, forming layers. Hale shouted from below, it's closing the shaft. Ray realized the truth. It's creating a trap, a cage to hold the creature. The alien's voice confirmed it. Keep climbing. The lock will activate fully once you reach the surface. Ray looked down. The creature's tendril slammed into the closing plates. A horrifying screech ripped through the shaft. The tendril twisted violently, trying to stop the walls from sealing. The tunnel shimmered as energy pulsed through it. The higher the humans climbed, the faster the walls closed. Hale shouted up, Ray, move, move, move. Ray climbed with everything he had inside him. Mia climbed right behind, tears freezing on her cheeks. Lena grunted with pain but refused to stop. Hale pushed himself upward, his fingers bleeding from the cold metal. The creature roared from below, a stomach-turning vibration. And then crunch, the walls snapped shut around its tendril. The creature screeched, its cry shaking the entire structure. Mia screamed, gripping the ladder with white knuckles. Ray, it's still fighting. Ray looked down. The sealed walls weren't holding. Cracks were spreading across the metal, glowing red from the heat inside. The alien's voice burst inside Ray's mind. Hurry, you must exit before IT breaks the seal. Ray reached the top of the shaft at last. He smashed another glowing panel. The exit opened like a metallic flower and brilliant white snowlight poured inside. Ray pulled himself out, collapsing onto the icy ground above. Mia, come on. Mia reached the top. Ray grabbed her arm and hauled her out, then Lena, then Hale. Seconds later, the ground behind them shook violently, and the sealed shaft burst open in a spray of molten metal. The creature's roar echoed through the night sky. Ray shouted, "Run to the ridge." They sprinted together through the snow just as the monster erupted from the hole behind them, larger, angrier, glowing with new cracks of energy. It had evolved again, and it was coming, not crawling, not creeping, but rising like a god of destruction. And Ray understood the truth. This wasn't an escape. This was only the beginning. The sky above Antarctica glowed with soft twilight, but the land below it shook like a beating war drum. Ray stumbled across the ice ridge, dragging Mia by the hand. Hale supported Lena, who was limping heavily. Their lungs burned from running, their legs felt like iron. Behind them, the creature rose from the cracked ground, towering like a monstrous shadow against the pale horizon. Its body had changed again. It was bigger, taller, its molten cracks pulsed brighter, its tendrils were longer, sharper, twisting like knives of living darkness. The roar it released wasn't sound, it was pressure, a force that shook their bones and froze their breath. Mia's voice cracked, "Ray, it's evolving again, faster." Ray swallowed hard, "Because we're feeding it, our movement, our heat, our fear." Hale clenched his jaw. "Then how do we stop feeding it? We're already running." Ray looked around desperately. The alien's voice had gone silent since the shaft collapse. No guidance, no warning, nothing. It felt like standing alone in a storm, but then a faint whisper brushed Ray's mind, weak, distant, fading. "Ray, listen to me." Ray stopped breathing. Mia, Hale stopped. They skidded across the ice and froze. Lena gasped. "Ray, what are you doing?" Ray closed his eyes, trying to focus on the fading voice. "Alien, are you still alive?" The voice responded, weaker than ever. "I am fading. The creature damaged my core. I do not have long." Ray whispered. "Then tell me how to end this." A long pause. "There is no ending without sacrifice." Ray felt the air leave his lungs. "Sacrifice who?" The alien's reply was filled with sorrow. "Me." Ray's eyes opened wide. "No, no, we already saw you collapse. My body is fading, but my energy remains. If I release my entire essence, I can freeze the creature again, like before." Ray felt cold spread inside him, deeper than any Antarctic winter. "But you'll die." Ray whispered, "I have already died once and slept for ages. This world must not repeat our mistake." Mia touched Ray's arm gently. "What is he saying?" Ray looked at them, all of them. "He wants to sacrifice himself to freeze the creature permanently." Lena shook her head violently. "No, no, that alien saved us. We can't let him die." Hale stepped forward. "Ray, ask him how we help." Ray closed his eyes. "How do we help you?" The alien replied, "You must reach the surface node. It is near the ice ridge. I will guide you." Ray turned and pointed at a jagged ridge of ice rising sharply to the north. "There, we need to get there." Hale lifted Lena again. "Then move." The climb to the surface node, the ridge was steep, dangerously steep, but the creature was too big to climb it directly. That gave them the only chance. They scrambled up the icy slope, gripping sharp edges with frozen fingers. Ray slipped twice, his boots scraping loudly, but Mia pulled him back each time. The creature roared and smashed the ground below them. A shockwave rippled through the ice. "Don't stop," Hale shouted. They climbed faster. Ray felt his mind buzz with the alien's presence, weak but guiding. "Higher, just a little more, the node is above you." After several agonizing minutes, they reached the ridge top. Ray saw it half buried under snow, a glowing hexagonal plate, cracked but still pulsing with energy. "The surface node, we found it." Hale lowered Lena gently and forced his numb hands toward the panel. "What do we do? Hit it, break it?" Ray pressed his hands against it. Immediately the panel lit up with bright blue energy. The alien's voice whispered, "Now step back." Ray stumbled backward in shock. Mia grabbed his hand. Ray whispered, shaken. "He's going to release himself through the node." Lena covered her mouth. "He'll die." Ray nodded, trembling. "Yes." Hale clenched his jaw. "Then we honor that sacrifice." The last stand of an ancient guardian below them, the creature reared its enormous body. Its tendrils clawed at the ridge, broke ice, and hurled chunks of frozen earth into the air. The entire land trembled. Ray shouted down toward the monstrous shadow, "Hey, we're here, come get us." Mia and Lena gasped in terror. "Ray, what are you doing?" Hale grabbed Ray's arm. "You'll draw it straight to us." Ray's eyes burned with determination. "That's exactly what we need." Hale understood instantly. He released Ray's arm and nodded firmly. The creature's molten cracks flared hotter, brighter. It sensed human heat, human fear, human movement. It rose higher. Ray felt his mind tear open, the alien's final words flooding through him. "Thank you for listening." Light burst from the hexagonal node, pure white, blinding, explosive. It shot skyward like a pillar of frozen lightning. The creature turned toward it, screamed, reared back, and swung all its tendrils at the node. Too late. The light exploded outward, a circular shockwave of cold so powerful it froze the air itself. Ray felt the blast hit him. He flew backward with Mia, Hale, and Lena. Snow erupted around them. The sky flashed white. The world held its breath. Then silence, no roar, no tremor, nothing. When Ray finally opened his eyes, the light was fading. He stood slowly. Below the ridge, the creature was frozen mid-motion, its tendrils suspended in a moment of attack, its molten cracks sealed, its entire form locked inside a towering block of crystal blue ice. It was beautiful and terrifying, and still, Mia fell to her knees, tears mixing with snow. He did it, the alien, he did it. Lena put her hand over her heart. He saved us and the world. Hale stood silently for a long minute, head bowed. Ray whispered into the wind, "Thank you, ancient guardian, rest now." Aftermath, but not the end. They descended the ridge carefully, their bodies aching. They walked across the frozen battlefield toward the creature. Ray reached out and placed a hand on the crystal's surface. Cold radiated through him, but beneath that cold a pulse, very faint, almost nothing, but real, Mia whispered. Voice trembling, "Ray, what is that?" Ray didn't want to answer, but he had to. "It's still alive, barely but alive." Lena's eyes widened in horror. "No, no, please not again." Ray exhaled slowly. "It's not breaking out, not now. It's frozen for maybe years, maybe centuries." Hale stepped forward. "But you're saying it could wake again?" Ray nodded. "Yes." Mia felt her heart drop. So the sacrifice wasn't permanent. Ray looked at the frozen beast, its glowing cracks faint under the ice. No sacrifice is permanent when the enemy is evolution itself. A long crack suddenly appeared on the surface of the crystal prison, thin, small, barely noticeable, but it was there, a warning. Mia whispered, voice hollow, "Ray, it's starting again." Ray lowered his head. "Not today, not now, but someday someone will have to face it again." Hale put a hand on Ray's shoulder. "Then we'll be ready." Ray closed his eyes as the cold wind blew across the silent continent. Antarctica had many secrets, and one of them was not sleeping forever.